this is Sally Ann. I've been making a few cards and I wondered if you would like to see them. My inspiration, or in fact my source, comes from this Decoupage card kit, which came with one of the card magazines, and you'll have to forgive me, I can't remember. It was either Simply Cards or the Australian Papercraft magazine, but it's just wonderful. It's a decoupage series of packs including some papers, just really pretty, and it can be sourced. Milton, Millie and Toby and Kitty from the Wild Rose studio, and I think they also sell the stamps in rubber format too. So that's one source. Let me move that out of the way. The second is, I've had this pack I don't know how long, and this is one source, but actually in this case Lily of the Valley produced it, and I used the rubber stamp Millie just for you on one of the cards. So that's another source. This is what I store my stamps in, so that they stick quite nicely for when I want to use them. So that's my stamps. So get those out of the way. Then I've used a couple of Spellbinders dies. Now those two I haven't put into binders yet, but my binder here is so the first one I used was in fact the 5x7 Elegant Labels 4, which is S6005. So I used those. That's just a real favourite of mine. So that was one die I used. I just marked them to get to. And the other die I used, a series of dies, were the detailed scallops, which is S6004. Again, these just make lovely cards. So and make nice labels too. So that's the other source. So those are those two, and then these two here, S5177, which is the A2 Filigree Delight. I used that piece there of the die to make a card, and you'll see that later on. And then lastly I used this die here, which is S6003, and that's the 5x7 Enchanted Labels 28. I've used this one, the outer one, to make the card, and I've used this inner panel, which is stunning when you cut it out, to do things like labels and other things and decorative features. So you'll see that when I show you the cards. So let's not hesitate, let's show you some of the cards I've been making. Well, this first one uses the detailed scallops, the 5x7, and is just so pretty. I've used the Hinge card technique, so that in fact you can then hinge it across. It means you save on cards, but it's just super. So I used a Fancy Labels 3 to make the tag. This is a die that I've recently, I should say stamp, that I recently got, which is this one here from Just Right Stamps. It's the large Fancy Sentiments, which is CR03815, and I used the Happy Birthday. This just makes, as you can see, it's the one that's brightly coloured with all the inks that are left. No matter how much you try and clean them, they do get stained, but there we go. It's a recent purchase, and it's this particular stamp that I've used as part of the sentiment, which is what you see there. And here I've used either Memento or Marvy ink pads to sort of just distress the edges or give a bit of colour. And then I used a little bit of Secret Garden graphic 45 paper I had from my scraps. Again, this background was scraps. This is the decoupage piece that you cut out from that pack and layer just with foam pads. And then on the inside a little ribbon, and I coloured that little pearl there with some Copics to make sure it works. And this of course stands, you know, like a tent card, and as you saw earlier, I lined the inside, the top in a similar matching, and then also the bottom with a little bit of that lovely Graphic 45 Secret Garden paper, just one of my scraps. So that's the first one. I did another one very similarly, but this time in a sort of purple kind of colour, using a different image. So there you have little Ted, more pearls on the, which I cut out in this sort of beautiful mauvey kind of cardstock, an organza ribbon, and some, gosh, paper I've had in my stash for ages, and it's the, you know, that kind of stash you think, oh, I'll keep it, and I just thought this was just so ideal. And I also lined the card with that particular paper too. Okay, so that's that one. Then I made this card, which is pretty similar, and this is that frame. Let me see if I can find that die again. Yeah, here we go. It's that frame there, and in fact it's, is it this card? No, I think it's another card, but it's that frame there that I've hidden behind the image, which again I've decoupaged of our little friend the doggy there, and just I used a little bit of vintage photo just to kind of match this to the little doggy here. Quite a sweet card. Okay, my next set of cards, they're all pretty similar, but they do in fact use, this one is the main frame. Oh, a bit quick, wasn't it? That's the S6003. This is the 5x7 enchanted labels. So let me show you that one. Yeah, there's a series here and a similar, again using the Hinge technique across the top. The happy birthday. This time I used a little vellum on the outside of the card. A lovely pink bow in the bottom corner there, just to give it a bit of feel. And again, partially lined this on the inside, used that other smaller die, and then the happy birthday in centre. But it just makes for, I'll just put it down there, stunning little card. Yeah. And that's for the little pussycat. Then similar one again, this time with a little chappy with a little daisy. So again, just sort of a different bit of ribbon at the bottom there. So that's, I actually did touch this up with a little bit of Copics just to give it a bit more pink. And then I also just edged the outer edge of that oval, which I just trimmed down a little bit with a memento. Let me show it to you, I've probably got it here. Yes, here we go. Memento Angel Pink was the die that I used for that. Just around the outside there to give it a bit of definition. So that's that one. Then staying with the same die, here's another kitty. I used a darker shade, and in fact on the inside some similar paper, striped paper, to match the little happy birthday sentiments. As I think I've said in other videos, what I do is I make a whole heap of these and just have them handy, and it just makes it so quick when you want to put a little something on the top of your card. And then a variation on this theme, here's another one here. This I just used the centre of the die. So if you imagine what I did, I cut off these corners and then popped it through an embossing folder, one of Spellbinder's ones. There are so many, you can use it just to give that a little definition. And then used, I think, the pendant lotus die from Spellbinders, which I think actually is now, retired, but I think there are so many variations. I think Venetian accents and motifs will have something similar. And again, I then fussy cut the little happy birthday out and put a little bit of peel off around the outside to keep it pale pastel, but just to give it a bit of definition. Okay, that's that one. Then I have a couple. I made two of this same card. There you go. Can't see it too well, so I'll open it up in a minute. but this utilises this frame of the die, this one here, which is just beautiful. Here's the same card opened, so let me just move that one aside. So again, using that hinge technique, just put a little lining on the inside. You can see that hinge technique just a little bit on the sides there, the crease. Again, makes a nice little card. Happy birthday, so I made 2 of those. Then I used the decoupage to make this little girl, and I thought, well, I can't go past making a pop-up, so I did a pop-up card with this lovely sentiment, which is from Just Right. Oh no, I think this may be from Flourishes. It's either Flourishes or Just Right. Let us be grateful to the people that make us happy. They are charming gardeners who make our souls blossom. Isn't that lovely? So I put then the decoupage on the pop-up, and then I used the Spellbinders Accents and Blossoms die. This is the outer side, so to make the writing panel so people can write on that. So sort of a pop-up card using that same set. And then I just thought, I'll make a little thank you card, why not? Just a little something there, very simple, with a thank you inside. But that's quite sweet and nice, I think, to receive in the post. Now the next 2 cards I have to show you utilise this punch here, which is a large EK Success. It's the scroll punch, and it's lovely for making decorations on the side of your card. Let me show you. This is the one I've used here, and in fact this is a step card, so as you can see it has a step here and a step here. How best to show you? That's probably the best way, or maybe on the side. Can you see? It's just got a step feature there. So this one utilised our little Lily of the Valley girly. I used, again, as you can see, some more Spellbinders die, but along the side here, what I did as part of I just used the scroll punch to do the side pieces, which I thought makes for an attractive edge. And I coloured her with my Copics to match, as I used the stamp, and then added a little butterfly here, and then I use these beautiful Want to Scrap matching pearl bling that you can get, that I think they're called Bling Abilities, are they? Or yes, I think they are, but they're on the Want to Scrap website. And then a silver peel off on the inside, and then again on the inside this is a Just Right stamp from Botanical Gardens, and I used another die here to just make that on the inside. So that's one, and then the last one is kind of similar structure, so it's the same structure in terms of step, but it has these sort of pyramage tulips on the top, and it's a Have a Wonderful Day card. So there you have it, another series of cards from me. Here's that stamp series. The stamp I used for Little Millie, I'll just find it for you, Just For You is what I coloured with my Copics, but again in one of the 3 magazines, and I think you can still back for, you can still find that in one of the colour magazines. I think it's either Simply Cards or Australian Papercraft and Stamping. That was where it's from. Again, the other set that I used was this Milton & Company Decoupage card kit, which is available from Wild Rose Studio, but I got free from another card magazine. There you go. So lots of cards to share with you. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll speak to you next time. Bye.